welcome to another episode of BTG's Talking Shit. My name is Barrett Courtney, and here joining with me are my great co-hosts and even better friends, Henry Montiero. What's up, Henry? And
Sock
Monkey. Sock Monkey is a racist piece of shit who got us in trouble on Twitch. Twitch.tv/baiazonagamers.
He likes being close to the table.
So,
Your place might it be.
This week on BTG Talking Shit, we're just doing one topic of discussion.
Ricky's not here, and I was in Paris, so...
And so we're just doing one, and we're going to split it into two parts. This is part one of our top 10 favorite movies of all time. And how this is going to work, we're going to do our 10 to 6 for part one, and then we'll do our 5 through 1 in part 2, including some honorable mentions in that part. And so we're just going to start it off, and here at Talking Shit, if you don't know, I gotta tell the people who don't know before we go into it. Talking Shit is a show where one of us usually brings in a topic of discussion, and we talk some shit about it. We recently did our top 10 favorite video games of all time, so I thought it'd be fun to keep doing that.
And you can find that on our channel. It should
somewhere.
Be
yeah, you can just click on our little baiazonagamers link down below, and then you can go check it out, along with all of our other great videos over there. So, yeah, usually one of us brings in a topic of discussion, usually about anything, but again, we recently did top 10 favorite video games, and that was fun, so we decided to do our top 10 favorite movies, and we'll probably do albums at one point, maybe TV shows, but for now...
Probably not comics.
Probably not comics.
You just say Batman comics, and I just say indie comics.
Exactly. So today we're going to do our top 10 video games. Well, today, what you're seeing, we're going to do 10 through 6. So Henry...
You said video games.
I said video games? I'm sorry. Movies.
Movies.
You can throw a book at your computer screen. That will hurt me in some way, shape, or form.
Ah!
Henry, what is your number 10?
So, if you know me, and I'm assuming most of our viewers do, you might know that I love animation. Animation has always been one of my personal favorites.
Yeah.
And I especially like more indie avant-garde, like, animators.
You do?
Like one of the DVDs I have in that room right over there.
Girls Gone Wild.
No, that's not mine. Not
Doggy
the Girls
style?
Gone Wild Snoop Dogg version. I have Fantastic Planet in the other room.
Okay.
Which is kind of like an even weirder, more horrifying Yellow Submarine.
Mm.
But my choice for my number 10 is a more recent film in this kind of category.
Okay.
And you might be familiar, even if you don't immediately recognize his name, with the works of Don Hertzfeldt.
I might be familiar with it. I definitely don't recognize the name.
Okay. You may recognize it from his short film Rejected, which you've probably seen clips of it online, because that's where you get, like, my spoon is too big.
I've seen that full, and that actually won an Academy Award the year it was released.
I am a banana. My anus is bleeding. That's not what I'm choosing.
Okay. No, I know. Kim, our friend Kim Nemeka really likes that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Very weird. It doesn't seem like her thing, but she really loves it.
I think that's a great film, but what I'm choosing is his masterpiece. What I've seen as his masterpiece, he just released a new film that came out this year. I think it's called Age of Tomorrow or something like that. Mm-hmm. That you can... the only way you can see it right now, I think, is if you buy it on Vimeo for like $4.
Oh, okay.
But my number 10 is his film, It's Such a Beautiful Day.
Oh, that's on Netflix.
Yes.
I've seen... I scroll past it and I'm like, oh, how long is it? Because I might want to check it out.
1 hour and 31 minutes, I believe.
Okay.
And technically, I don't know if I can include this, because it's technically 3 short films put together into one feature length.
It's such a beautiful day. Yeah, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah,
We have no rules here.
But it's like, I want to... It really is one story of the Bilogy, which... So all three of them focus on this one guy named Bill, who throughout the series, the movie, you slowly see, like, his struggle with, like, mental preservation, slowly realizing what's wrong with him. Mm-hmm. It's very funny. It's very disturbing. It actually almost...
Much like Rejected.
Yes.
Okay.
It actually did make me cry.
Oh, wow.
Because...
Rejected did not make me cry. Just made me have a painful butt.
My anus is...
Yay! Yay!
But this is like one of the most powerful films I have ever seen. And it's amazing because he didn't change his animation style at all.
Yeah, and that's what, like, there was something whenever I passed by, like, the Netflix little picture, I was like, there's something very familiar about that. And now I know what it's from. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know.
And it's like, through that style, it tells more than any other, like, more advanced, like, animation to it would have done. Because you really see, like, how this guy pictures the world as, like, these stick figure drawings, and it's like, and, like, you hear his psychoses, like how he picks the fruit out of when he goes to the supermarket, he picks the fruit from the back of the bin, because most of the fruit in the front has been crotch level with most of the people who've been there before, and it's like you never think about that before, but this movie makes you think about that, and it makes you put these connections in your head, and like it makes you think about what you are and where you are in the universe, and it's a very powerful film, and I highly recommend it to anyone who sees animation as an art form.
Sorry. I know I'm in front of you. I was concerned. There was ice cream out.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make sure it didn't melt all the way. But yeah, I do appreciate what you're saying here.
And I can't wait to see his new film, Age of Tomorrow. I'm probably getting that name wrong. Because
It's some sort of thing. How are we doing on levels? You're doing fine? Cool.
Because he is probably my favorite animator.
Wow. That's a bold statement there.
Especially because he does stick figures.
Exactly.
But just like the storytelling he does with those stick figures is incredible. I'm going to grab more pizza.
All right. I'll talk a little bit more about, like, from what I got from little spiel about this is crotch fruit.
Yeah.
That's what I've gotten from this.
Like, it's a movie that's, like, silly in a way, but at the same time, it's very, like, you feel it. Here you go.
Okay.
Like, I highly recommend it.
Pizza is energizing us. I'm sorry, we're being very even more unprofessional than we usually are, but I really don't give a shit because I'm really tired.
Your number 10?
So how I did my list, I started writing down movies, and then I stopped around 25. And then I had to organize them, actually compare, how much do I like these movies compared to these movies and stuff. So gathering my list was very hard, because I'm a very big movie junkie.
And I'm guessing it looks nothing like the top 10 you posted on your Tumblr a year back.
Probably not, because I actually did some soul searching for this. So, my number 10. And I tried to actually find that list, and I couldn't find it anymore. So, it's deep in the Tumblrs. My number 10. I was actually very surprised that I picked this movie out of this series. Because it's the final one, for me it's the final one. I know they're doing a sequel to it. But for me, it's the final story. I thought the first one was going to be the one at number 10, but thinking about this, I really do enjoy this movie a lot more. Is Toy Story 3. Heartbreaking movie, especially the ending. And it's just so... Toy Story is basically... It's always sort of been like a heist movie in some way. There's always some sort of plan of escaping or getting someone, or just all of this crazy stuff. And the level of sort of breaking out of the daycare, which is so great and so well thought out. Like I think that's actually one of the best like breakout sequences I've ever seen in film. But man, they just pull at your heartstrings, especially at that end. And the villain is actually interesting, you know? You don't see a lot of interesting villains that much anymore, especially in those dang Marvel movies, you know?
Yeah.
So, even Lotso, like, you get attached to Lotso, and then you get to understand, like, his side of things, and it's really upsetting, and then how that relates to Woody and all of this stuff, and it's just...
You know,
it's such a good movie.
I still remember the first time I saw that when it got to the incinerator scene.
I legitimately thought, like... This is how they're ending it, and like, if you saw it outside of the box, if you saw it outside of the box, you're like, you can't end this there. But I saw Toy Story 3 for the first time by myself in theaters because that was in the era of time where no one really wanted to go see movies with me, so I just see movies by my fucking self. That was the point where I saw like 9, that like animated movie. I thought it was terrible.
Yeah, I think it's mediocre. I know people who love it, but it's like...
Yeah, I think that he needs to stop. But yeah, it was in that same era. And so I just remember seeing Toy Story 3, man, and I was just like, shit. They're all just holding hands. I'm usually well aware of like plot devices and things that were brought up earlier in movies that I'm like, that's gonna somehow save the day later on. But they nailed it this time. Like, a lot of those things are very predictable of how stuff is gonna play out. Like, oh, someone's gonna die, and then they're gonna use this to bring them back to life, and it's gonna be a happy fucking ending. But with Toy Story, like, Pixar did it so well, where they first get to the dump, and then the alien buddies just immediately, you think they're dead. Like, they immediately get destroyed, and you're just like, well, fuck. And then they get saved by the alien guys. Oh my god. Toy Story 3 is hella fucking rad. It's
such a great movie.
Oh my god.
Not the Pixar film on my list, though.
Yeah, that's actually the only Pixar film on my list. And I was surprised that I didn't put Incredibles up here.
You're going to be surprised by mine.
But...
It's not Cars 2.
I think I know what it is. But anyway, I was surprised because I love Incredibles, but I think Toy Story 3 pulled at me more. So that's how I feel about that. What is your number 9, Henry?
My number 9 is a...
9.
Yes, the musical in a casino. That 9. There are 2 terrible movies named 9.
Exactly.
But this movie is a movie that, if you know what was previously my favorite film of all time, this movie is right in the same category, and it's just as classic. I love this movie to death. My number 9 is The Thing.
Oh, I know that movie.
Yeah.
I once watched it with our good friend Chloe Maciel. Very interesting. Not my kind of thing.
I love The Thing because it's like...
Not my kind of thing. The Thing. It's the Henry Show.
Now it's the Barrett shirt show.
Sorry, I'm really not giving a fuck this week.
Now it's the shit show.
Alright, so what do you like about The Thing?
What I like about The Thing is just like... It captures a sense of horror that I rarely ever see in like sci-fi horror movies.
Okay.
Because it does the same thing that the movie that you know is going to be on my list.
Yeah.
It does the same thing in that it just puts you in such an isolated area.
Yeah, and makes you feel very claustrophobic almost of just how stressful it can be. I definitely appreciate that. I'm just not a sci-fi horror in general kind of guy.
I'm usually not either, but I love these 2 films and Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which is not on my list. But I also love that movie, and I am talking about the 80s one with Leonard Nimoy wearing a weird thing on his hand for most of it. It's so weird. But The Thing is just incredible because it's like you have such a fear of the Thing because you never quite understand it. You never really know what the Thing is. You know it's an alien, you know it can shapeshift, and you know that when it does shapeshift, it becomes the most horrifying thing you've ever seen. Right. But you never quite understand it. And there were never any sequels that kind of
like that went on and explained all of the midichlorians that were in the thing that were able to take all the humans down.
Yes.
Right.
So it's like, it never stops being like this weird, mysterious thing. And it's like, it's just a brilliant film. I love the soundtrack. Mm-hmm. John Carpenter did a great job.
Mm. Okay. Cool. My number 9.
9.
Good Will Hunting.
Really?
Yes. I really enjoy this movie. I really love it.
Is this your only Robin Williams film on here?
Yes. Yeah, Robin Williams, I think it was this movie and also Good Morning Vietnam, and he's at the height of his acting.
You were friends with Robin Williams.
Sort of. We talked about like our, by the time this is up, you've already seen it. One of our topics last week for talking shit was the best moments of our lives. And one of mine that I talked about was meeting Robin Williams and running into him a couple times, and at one point he was able to recognize me because the last time I had ever seen him, he was like, "Yo, you changed your hair color," and that touched me in a great way, but and not physically touching. Not to mix my words up here. Yeah, Robin Williams definitely at his height. Ben Affleck is tolerable in this movie.
Matt Damon.
And Matt Damon, we make fun of Matt Damon mainly because of the South Park thing.
Team America.
But the Team America. Sorry, it's the same creator, so that's just what I associate.
It really is like the same thing.
But you gotta appreciate for what that kid did, especially like at that time where he's so young and he's just up and coming, and he was able to pull this movie off just by writing. And Ben Affleck took credit for the writing, but as well, but. He didn't.
Damn you, Batfleck.
But it was also just very relatable, especially with the father relationship in Good Will Hunting. And all this, with the abuse and stuff that goes on and the trauma that happens with that. So there's just a lot of... It's very relatable to myself, and also with it being from a town that doesn't offer too much. And not really feeling the need to do much because you're in that town, but also friends being like, "Yo, you have something special. You should go out and do it." There's just something very inspiring about that movie. And also just, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Ugh.
That movie... What's the other... That movie always reminds me of that other Robin Williams movie where he plays, like, a professor type.
Oh, no, I know what you're talking about. Shit.
The one where it's like, stand up on your tables. Actually, this is the part where I admit something embarrassing. I don't think I've ever really seen, like, a real Robin Williams movie.
Have you never seen Good Will Hunting?
Nope. I will see it. Now that you've put it on this list.
I think... Right?
What?
Dead Poets Society. There
yes,
you go.
That's it.
There you go.
I always get those two movies confused.
Yeah. And the reason I was being iffy about the title of that was because I haven't seen it in a very long time. So, that's not one that stands out for me, but Good Will Hunting, man.
Personal film?
Oh, yeah. Henry. Number 8.
My number 8 is a movie that I feel is probably somewhere on your list. You can tell me if I'm wrong. Came out last year.
You're probably right. I'm hiding my list now. You say it.
Birdman.
Okay. All right.
Birdman is an incredible film.
Shout out to Asher Groh, who nitpicked it so far to the point where his problems with the movie don't even make sense. Because he's all on this rant about it. It's like one of the worst movies of all time. But then like his reasonings for it made no sense whatsoever. And it's just like your reasoning for this is collapsing upon itself. Collapsing. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm trying my best here.
He's collapsing the field.
Okay. So yeah, Birdman.
So I have a problem when I watch movies. I am terrible at keeping focus.
Like
Stay focused.
Stay focused. Yeah.
I am terrible at it because I I just get constantly distracted. And I'm like, even when I'm in the theater, my brain just gets hooked on things that like distract me from the rest of the movie while I just focus on that. Like the one I always remember is the first time I ever watched Avengers.
And then you're like, I wonder what Sock Monkey is doing right now.
No, my brain just spent the entire time thinking about the Tesseract. Not even like the object in the movie, like the fourth dimensional like shape.
All right.
But it's like Birdman is one of the few movies where I saw it, and as soon as like the opening like drumming starts, I was transfixed.
Oh yeah, it's just so. I'm not gonna say my feelings about it yet because you are right. It's on my list. I won't tell you where though.
Because Michael Keaton's a great actor, and we never give him credit for it.
Yes.
Because
he had that falling out in the early 90s, you know. It was like he did Beetlejuice, and then he just he did Mr. Mom, or Mr. Mom was before that, but
he did Batman Returns.
No, was he in Batman Returns?
Yes.
Okay.
Because then he was replaced with Val Kilmer in Batman Forever.
That's what it was.
Which we're going to pretend didn't happen.
And then he did Beetlejuice, and then he just
Beetlejuice is incredible. I'm just going to say it right now.
After Beetlejuice, he just sort of fell off the face of the earth, you know. He was just like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah. And then, the one thing that I do remember him being in is he was in the adaptation of Much Ado About Nothing by Kenneth Branagh. Where he plays Dogberry.
Yes.
And he plays a great Dogberry.
Yeah. I actually do like Kenneth Branagh for his directing suits. Even though Thor wasn't that great of a film, he has a sort of... He knows how to do Shakespeare. I will give him that.
Oh, he does. I mean...
Even though he casts himself as Hamlet. But whatever.
40 years old.
Yeah, that's true.
I heard Cinderella was actually pretty good. Anyway, we're talking about something that wasn't Kenneth Branagh.
We're getting into a rabbit hole here. Let's bring ourselves out of the rabbit hole.
But Michael Keaton's a great actor, and it's so great that with Birdman, people are finally like, holy shit.
Realizing that, you know.
Holy shit, Michael Keaton's incredible.
Yeah.
Because he just...
Did he win Best Actor?
No, Eddie Redmayne did.
Eddie Redmayne did.
I
don't know if I do appreciate what Eddie Redmayne did to get through that, you know? So... I'm not too upset that Keaton was... I don't want to say snubbed. I do think Eddie Redmayne deserved that.
That was a tough competition. Personally, I think
I actually think Jake Gyllenhaal was snubbed from being nominated, you know, much like the Lego Movie.
Yeah.
Those were two nominations that were very obvious to me, and to a lot of other people, but, you know, the Academy is a piece of shit sometimes.
It is. But, so, with Birdman, Michael Keaton just holds down this whole play.
Yep.
I mean, film.
Yep.
But it is a play.
It is a play. It's a film about a play.
It's an adaptation of...
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
And, Edward Norton just does an incredible job as, playing the biggest asshole Edward Norton.
Oh, yeah. His character is just so ridiculously douchey.
It's great.
I love it.
Because he's just
I love how they,
I'm Edward Norton.
I love how they acknowledge, all of these superhero actors and stuff in this movie. They talk about the guy who plays Hawkeye in the Avengers.
Can we get Robert Downey Jr.? He's also in...
Yeah, they put him in a cape as well, but they don't, Edward Norton was the Hulk at one point, which is just funny to think about.
Yeah. And, that whole one-take thing.
This is actually very weird. Edward Norton was in Hulk. Emma Stone was in Spider-Man. And then Keaton was Batman. Was there anybody else in that movie that was previously in a superhero movie? I think that might have been it. But those are just sort of your three main actors, though.
I don't think Zach Galifianakis was in anything.
No. But those
did a great job, too.
No, yeah, he was weirdly... He was good as the straight man. You know, and he rarely ever does that. So it was cool to see him play a different fucking character other than the guy from Hangover. Yeah.
Which is a movie that gets worse whenever you think about it.
Yeah. I remember we went to go see The Hangover 3 after my graduation, and we were laughing the whole time. Not because the movie was good, because of us making fun of the movie. Yeah, so... Birdman.
And the one camera thing. Like how
the one
it's all
shot.
edited to look
and then
like one
it's
take.
the guy who did the cinematography and the editing of that is the same one who is the same cinematographer from Gravity.
Yeah.
Which is why that looks so great.
And it's like, when you first hear about it, it's like, that sounds like a stupid gimmick. But then after a point, you just stop noticing it.
Exactly.
Because you're so drawn into, like...
the story and, like, what's going on and where the movements are going. You're just like, I don't give a fuck. This is really interesting.
And then, like, that whole question, does he have psychic powers? Does he not? What happens at the end? What the hell was up with those jellyfish?
We'll get into that. I don't want to talk about my full feelings yet. Just yet.
I love that movie, and I will save some for you.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. What are we on?
Number 8.
My number 8
is Birdman.
It's not Birdman. Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs.
I knew there was going to be a Quentin Tarantino because he is a filmmaker that filmmakers love.
Yes. And this is actually my only Tarantino movie on here, on this list.
Most people would choose Pulp Fiction.
I do like Pulp Fiction.
You do like folk. You do love Bob Dylan.
I love Pulp Fiction. Why can't I say this? Pulp Fiction. And how he does all the storytelling and putting everything sort of out of order and having it all figured out, but also the separate stories themselves. But there's just something about Reservoir Dogs that was just really, really fucking cool. Especially, sorry, I'm stuffed up right now. Especially the whole movie basically takes place in this warehouse and trying to figure out like who the like mole is, who's like the cop that's undercover and all this stuff, and then you find out it's Ringo from Pulp Fiction, and then it goes into his backstory of becoming undercover and all this stuff. It's just like a really cool storytelling, and like the whole torture scene where he's torturing the cop. Oh my god!
Glance to the left.
That scene terrifies me, but it's just so awesome.
You know what's my favorite thing about that scene?
What?
You always think that you see it, but you never actually see his ear get cut off.
Yeah, nope.
But it's so, like, vivid in your mind that, like, there are people who will say, like, no, you see the ear get cut off. Listen to me. You see it.
No, you don't.
That's the thing that's incredible about it.
It's because it's just, like, it gives you that just cringy feeling that you think you saw everything. Like, that's just how great that scene was and how great that movie was, to be honest. And just at the end, where the whole time he's been Mr. White has been defending the undercover cop the whole time, and literally like the last minute he's like, I'm the cop, and then he's just like, fuck you, and shoots him. Oh my gosh, that's a great ending. It's also a great beginning, the whole like rant about no tipping from Mr. Pink. Who is that? That's the
Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi who does it.
Ian Enriquez.
He performed that very well, and I really love that monologue.
Steve Buscemi's a really underrated actor.
He is.
Everyone's like, it's Steve Buscemi. He's the weird-looking guy. But he's like, he's so good.
Watch Reservoir Dogs if you haven't, and then also watch the show. What's that show that he was in that just recently ended? Boardwalk Empire. He's really good in that. So check those out. That's all I have to say about Reservoir Dogs.
Just a good movie.
It's so good. I think it's my favorite of the Tarantino. I do really enjoy, under that probably, if we would rank Tarantino movies, it would go Reservoir Dogs, Django Unchained, and then Pulp Fiction. You know, Django Unchained it's the one Tarantino movie where you actually feel like he's telling an actual story.
Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah. No, Django Unchained.
Yeah.
Everything else, it just sort of feels like it's about nothing, but it's really cool anyway.
Yeah. He's a style over substance director a lot of the time.
Yeah. Moving on.
I love how he's always in his movies, but he's always the worst actor.
Oh, yeah.
He's a terrible actor. That's the best part about Pulp Fiction, how bad he is.
Oh, yeah.
That is a great scene, though.
Number 7. Henry, what is your number 7?
My number 7 is the most obvious pick for this list, because everyone, after the year 2000 and whenever this movie came out, puts it in their list.
1999. Let me guess. Fight Club.
Actually never seen it.
Oh, wow. Okay, never mind then. What is it?
Spirited Away.
Spirited Away, all right. Spirited Away, again, how I did my whole list. I put 25 films up.
That was in your 25?
Spirited Away was my 25.
It was your number 25?
It was my number 25, but it was still up there. You know.
So, like, I love Miyazaki films.
Miyazaki's so fucking dope.
I know. And it's like,
it's weird. I just want to go on this. My little sister Alana, who was she 8 now? Jesus Christ. She loves really weird films. She again, we were talking about. She likes Dark Crystal. She likes David Bowie movie. Why can't I keep Labyrinth? Yeah, thank you.
You remind me of the Babe.
And she really likes Coraline and stuff. And I remember having her watch Spirited Away one day, and she's like, "This is weird." And that's like, I was like, "You love Dark Crystal. How do you think this is weird?" Like, shut up, kid. I love you.
So like,
that's just the little thing I wanted to say.
But like, I've been watching Miyazaki movies since I was born.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing Spirited Away for the first time when I was like 4 or 5. And
yeah,
I even loved it back then.
Because it's like, he made the best children's films, like back in the 90s. Like
My Neighbor Totoro.
My Neighbor Totoro, fantastic. Kiki. I feel like there's a third one from that time period that I'm forgetting.
Howl's Moving Castle was more recent, right?
Yeah, 2006, I believe.
Yeah.
There was Princess Mononoke, but I did not enjoy that movie until I was older because I remember that movie gave me nightmares.
Yeah, Princess Mononoke is definitely more catered to older audiences.
I think I remember the first time I saw that boar like melt away. That was the first time I was like, I can't watch this.
I can't watch this.
And he still makes like all these great films because Ponyo is amazing.
I like Ponyo. I think it might just be a generational thing where, again, he was trying to cater to an audience that wasn't me as much.
But you can still admire the artist.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, the art definitely is still beautiful.
You've always wanted to eat a Miyazaki meal, haven't you? Like how it looks.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It looks so delicious. Damn it.
Just some like anime cartoons and designs in general. Whenever you see them eating food, you're like, "Fuck, I want to have that.
I want noodles that are that thick instead of like slipping out of the chop." Anyway, so I put Spirited Away here because Spirited Away is like the best full film he ever made.
Yeah.
Because Spirited Away is kind of like, I'd argue it's a perfect film.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because it's like
there's one aspect of that I don't. The whole the kid, the boy in it that she has a thing for.
Is his name Haku?
I forget. It's been a very long time since I've watched Spirited Away. You've actually made me want to go home and watch it today. But the whole like she was in a river and she almost drowned in this river and he happened to be the one to save her and stuff. That part was a little weird for me, but everything else was awesome. It's
just an astonishing movie, and like there are parts of that movie that I have permanently embedded into my head. Like the first.
No Face is still creepy as shit.
No Face is terrifying, but it's like.
But then you start to like No Face at one point. You start to care for.
Because he's adorable. Because he's just like.
And definitely like when he ate the frog and the frog was voicing him and all this stuff, you're just like, oh, you're so creepy.
I know.
Still so great though.
I remember the first time I watched that movie in the theater, I was in the bathroom when you first see the parents turn to pigs. So I watched it again. The second time I watched it was terrifying because I was like, that didn't happen.
This wasn't here. What is this?
That is permanently embedded in my mind. Them washing the river spirit. That's permanently in my mind just for being disgusting. The radish spirit.
All beautiful, like when it was. Oh my god.
The radish spirit.
Yes.
And like, I love that movie, and I love Miyazaki, and it makes me wish that I loved other anime as much. Because it's like, why can't I wish more anime had like that kind of appeal to like, just
Akira?
Like yeah.
Yeah.
But Akira is still like very much like this is very anime.
Yeah.
Hayao Miyazaki is just like a universal like figure.
That's true. That's very true. I understand where you're coming from there.
Like usually it's like
there's more of there's more of for Miyazaki films. There's more of it caters to a bigger audience.
It's
and
like he's the
like
Spielberg.
Anybody could sit down and watch it and enjoy it.
He's like the Spielberg of anime. He makes movies that are made for everyone, but he does such a good job at it that you still feel like it was made for you.
Exactly. I like that analogy. Thank you for that. Now, moving on.
Your number 7.
My number 7 is probably the worst movie on this list. Because all the other movies are just so great. And this movie probably isn't looked at in the general public as a great movie. But for the fans of this certain director, they probably all love this movie. My number 7 is Kevin Smith's Mallrats.
You do love Kevin Smith.
I do love Kevin Smith. I love Jason Lee. I love other people in that movie. It's just there's something more like I really like Clerks and I appreciate what Clerks was, but there's just something about Mallrats where just being like this lazy teenager like we are, and just hanging out and just talking about pop culture stuff, which is what we do.
Yeah, Kevin Smith made that into an art form.
Yeah, definitely. He was the first director to do that.
Yeah.
Where a movie was literally about other things. And it's just so cool, and I love it. I know it's not a great film.
But you love it.
But
It's your Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
it's my Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And that's all I have to say about it.
Funny thing. I'd like to tell a story.
Like in the back of a Volkswagen? Yeah, what's your story?
I actually watched Clerks for the first time with Jack recently.
What do you think about it?
I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. I really feel like I am not this film's target audience. But I am. Because I'm like that movie.
But you're not. It was a film for the time.
Yes.
And that's where you and I sort of differ a little bit. You know, I'm a little older, and I actually grew up in that time period, so I know what a lot of that was like. And so I can still, for the first time when I watched it, I was like 10 years old, a very inappropriate time to be watching that movie.
37. My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks.
In a row?
Best scene in that movie.
Oh, yeah. And also also talking about like the Star Wars and the Death Star and having like the contractors working on that and like
That was a great scene.
That was just funny as shit.
But at the same time, there were like scenes in that movie where I'm just like, this could have used a little bit of trimming.
But also, I think it's because you haven't worked in retail yet.
Yes.
And I've learned to appreciate Clerks even more because of all the dumb fucking customers. So I think once you work in retail and then you go back and watch that movie, I think you'll appreciate it a little more.
You know what I do love, though?
What?
Because I just watched all 6 episodes of this. The Clerks animated
Oh,
series.
the animated series? I know it's
so
dumb.
good.
I know it's dumb as shit, but I do really love it.
Why are we walking like this? I love that show. I think it's the best thing Kevin Smith has ever done. Because it's just like, it's just
the
funny.
episode where Randall is like, he has the power to turn women into lesbians. Yeah, I really enjoy that show, but I also really enjoy Mallrats, and that's why it is at my number 7.
I need to watch a lot more. I need to watch the rest of the Kevin Smith movies because.
What have you watched Dogma?
Not yet.
I think Dogma is his best.
That's what I've heard.
Dogma was definitely a contender for this list. It was actually my 22, but Mallrats made it into the 10.
Okay.
Now moving on, and this is going to be our last number that we talk about for this part of the top 10, our top 10 films of all time. For the second part, for 5 through 1, including some honorable mentions, you can tune in tomorrow right here on YouTube, our YouTube page for BTG's Talking Shit. Now let's go into it. Our last movie that we're going to talk about for this episode, Henry, what is your number 6? World War Z.
I want you to look at me and figure out the one director that you knew was going to be on this list.
Like specifically for you, or just like in general, like it would be on everybody's list, or just
Specifically for me.
fuck.
Which director would be on my list? Based on what you know about me.
I have no idea. Because Henry, you're just so diverse in all of the things that you love.
Wes Anderson.
Oh shit! All right, let me guess which one. I don't even know which one it's gonna be. I don't know how you felt about Grand Budapest. I don't think it's Grand Budapest.
I love Grand Budapest.
I think it's Is it Rushmore?
Ding, 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 ding,
Oh,
ding.
wow. 7 new.
It's
7
Rushmore.
new. Thank you, 7.
Rushmore is perfect.
It's perfect. Wow.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Like, I love Wes Anderson's whole, like, deal. Because I love how delicately framed his movies are. Because, like, a lot of movies, like, they move so fast that it's like, you don't pay attention to cinematography. Wes Anderson is like, no, sit down and watch.
Yeah.
And I love that in his movies. Like, you want to look at how he frames every shot because just of how it's designed.
Yeah, and there's always something different to focus on, I've definitely noticed. Like, no matter where the main focus is, there's other things to pay attention to as well.
I'm going to be honest, Rushmore is just kind of a figurehead for, like, most of Wes Anderson's catalog for this.
I've actually never watched Rushmore.
It's a very good movie, and you should watch it. It's his best. Funnily enough, also his least Wes Andersonian. Because it doesn't have, like, as much of that framing. Like,
He hadn't grown too much into his own just yet.
Yes.
And that's one of his first films, right?
yeah, it was, like, his first besides Bottle Rocket, I think. But, like, it still has that quirky vibe. Those, like, very stylized characters.
Yeah.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray's great.
Bill Murray's such a good actor.
Yeah, we don't appreciate Bill Murray as much as we all should. And guess what? I feel Bill Murray's situation is going to be like Robin Williams. Not that he's going to die too early, but is that
Let's hope not.
Like Robin Williams, a lot of people didn't appreciate him for a while, and not that people hated him or anything. He just like
They're just like, oh, you keep making crap movies.
And I feel like the same thing is like with Bill Murray is that people aren't going to appreciate him until he's passed, and then they're going to be like, he was so great. But I'm not a phony. I stuck with my love.
Well, I mean, people really like St. Vincent.
That is very true. Very true. But I'm just saying, I stuck with my love for Robin Williams and Bill Murray all the way through.
And so it's like,
Get Bill Murray to be a guest on the show.
Bill Murray, what do you think?
That was very racist, sock monkey.
And so it's like, I just love how delicate every Wes Anderson movie is. Like, I feel like when I look at it, I am looking at, like, a quilt my grandma made. But it's made by a guy who kind of looks like the lead singer from Neutral Milk Hotel.
Yeah. I'm laughing inside because my number 6 is going to be very, 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 very different from what you're talking about right now.
Nice. But it's like, and then, like, I loved Grand Budapest.
Yeah.
That was great.
I actually
Moonrise
think,
Kingdom.
I think Budapest was probably my favorite of his so far. I've yet to see Rushmore, so.
I have not seen Darjeeling Unlimited yet, which I hear is very good. I plan on watching it soon. Royal Tenenbaums was a very close to being an honorable mention. But I decided to just have this be like Wes Anderson movies.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, Royal Tenenbaums is great. Moonrise Kingdom, great. I even love Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh, I love that movie.
7. How much does Milo love Fantastic Mr. Fox?
Oh, yeah.
Milo loves Fantastic Mr. Fox, and that makes me so happy.
Fantastic Mr. Fox is Milo approved.
So, yeah, Rushmore / the Wes Anderson catalog.
Okay. I'll allow it. My number 6, very different. Very different.
Speed Racer.
Because you're talking about delicacy and being very delicate and like a quilt. Mine is so badass and just fuck you and just whatever. My number 6 of top 10 favorite movies of all time. I was very surprised to find this on my list as well. But I just started thinking about it. I was like, fuck, this is such a great movie. Terminator 2.
That was very close to being on my list, too. I love Terminator 2.
And watching it, like, going back, Terminator 1 is very, especially the style. It's like, Terminator 1 was more of like a horror film.
That movie's
in a sense. And then Terminator 2 definitely turned into more of an action kind of thing. Still some scary moments, some very intense moments. But it was more of an action movie at that point. But it's just so well done. And it's like at the height of why 80s movies were so fucking cool. And then just like finally being able to like meet John Connor, but like as a kid and all of this stuff, and him growing into his own, and then like the T what, T-1000?
T-1000 was the one made of liquid.
That's the one made of liquid. What was the...
T-800.
T-800, there we go. Like, and then the T-800, like, sort of being like a father figure and all this stuff. And then the T-1000 being as scary as shit. I remember one day working at Vans before I left for a little bit and then came back. There's, at one point, someone was outside who looked like the actor who was the T-1000. And a friend of mine and I were like, fuck, that's scary as shit. Like
That does sound terrifying.
He looked exactly like him. We thought for a second it was the actual actor, but it wasn't. But whatever.
Ask him for an autograph.
Nice. Oh, we should have asked him for an autograph?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you asked him for an autograph once. So I was like, oh, cool.
Just go
Terminator 2, just super, super cool. I remember the first time I watched it, I was watching it in parts. My mom was weirdly letting me watch this movie when I was very young at a friend's house. We would always go to this guy's house before, like, baseball games, because I was in, like, a little league and stuff. And we go over and they just, like, we would hang out and stuff, and he had Terminator 2, and I'd watch it in parts. I almost watched it as, like a TV series, almost. And they would end it at, you know, parts that would make sense to, like, end an episode. And just, like, the anticipation of finding out what happens next was just great. And so, like, just that memory as well was really cool.
If you want movies that you shouldn't watch, you watch too young. My grandma took my dad to see The Exorcist when he was a child, because it was a Catholic film.
Oh, great!
And I love that story.
That's a great story.
The Exorcist is the most terrifying thing.
So that was my number 6, Terminator 2. I don't think I need to explain much more. If you haven't seen any of these movies that we've talked about today, you should go watch them, because they are... I don't think I've disagreed with anything that you've said. I don't know about It's Such a Beautiful Day, because I haven't watched it yet, but everything else that you've talked about, I've been pretty... I understand it. And so you should go watch the movies Henry's talking about. You should watch the movies I've been talking about. And if you want to see our 5 to 1... our top 5 movies, it'll be tomorrow's Talking Shit topic. Again, my name is Barrett Courtney, and this is my great co-host and even better friend, Henry Montiero. Here at Talking Shit, one of us brings in a topic of discussion, and we talk some shit about it. This week is just top 10 favorite movies of all time. Today we discussed our 10 through 6, and tomorrow we'll be doing, again, I don't know why I'm repeating myself, but our top 5. And if you have a topic of discussion you want us to talk some shit about, you can tweet at us at baiazonagamers. You can tweet at me at banandlordchong. You can tweet Henry at Henrysaurus. And if you have any technical questions of how we're able to look so beautiful and sound so crystal clear, you can tweet at our tech guy, 7Morris, at 7Morris. But the O in Morris is a 0. And if you don't do the tweets, like our friend Ricky, who is not here today, you can email us at baiazonagamers@gmail.com. And until next time, guys, have a great day full of shit-talking, but also, I don't know, sad Toy Story movies.
And Judgment Days.
All right, have a good one. Bye.